Queens got loud when Young Buck jumped on live and straight called out 50 Cent, telling him to walk through Queens with no security. This came right after 50 clowned him with a wild AI meme on his own birthday. So what exactly did 50 post that pushed Buck over the edge? And did this just spark up an 18-year feud all over again? Buck made it clear in his tone. He feels like this is a setup he can't win. Around March 14th and 15th, 2026, this all lines up with his 45th birthday weekend. David Darnell Brown, known as Young Buck, a Nashville OG who once stood solid with 50 as a key piece of G Unit during their peak, was really just out here living regular and staying in his lane. He was celebrating his birthday the way he wanted, throwing what he called a rodeo-style bash at his spot. It looked like a full-on hometown celebration with real roots behind it. On top of that, Buck dropped a bunch of clips on Instagram showing his day. Calm footage, him riding through his neighborhood on a horse, stopping to talk with people, showing love, shaking hands, connecting with folks who've been around since day one. No sneak disses, no tension in the air, just a grown man enjoying his birthday, surrounded by people who actually rock with him. You could see it clear. He was outside on his day getting respect from his community. You could tell Buck was soaking up every second of it, enjoying the moment with no distractions. "You good, man?" At this point in the live, he was still deep in celebration mode, showing respect to the elders, greeting everybody, and keeping it real with his people. No talk about 50 Cent, no G Unit mentions, nothing messy at all. It was just a man happy to see 45, proud of where he stands, and letting the world see how his community shows up for him. While Buck was outside in Seaville keeping it solid, 50 Cent was already moving different, sitting back and plotting his next move. That's the thing about 50. He doesn't jump in loud right away. He watches, waits, and then strikes at the exact moment it hits the hardest. It doesn't matter if you're minding your business or staying quiet. If 50 sees an opening to turn your name into content, he's taking that shot every single time. This time, the weapon was an AI-generated photoshopped parody styled after the old 1970s TV show The Dukes of Hazzard. And this wasn't some rushed meme thrown together in 5 minutes. This was detailed, almost like a full production, recreating that classic promo poster with serious attention to detail. 50 placed himself right in the middle as Bo Duke, the main character. Tony Yayo was right there in the frame with him. But the part that really had people talking was who else got pulled into this. Gorilla's sister, Victoria Scarface Woods, known as Barilla, was edited onto the body of Daisy Duke, the character famous for those short shorts. Then he added T.I. into the mix as Sheriff Roscoe P. Coltrane, the clumsy cop from the show, since he's been throwing shots at Tip, too. One post, multiple targets, all lined up. Buck was the main focus of it all. He was completely removed from the picture, replaced like he was never part of the crew in the first place. No subtle message, just straight disrespect, clear as day. The caption came straight from 50 Cent's page, posted for millions to see, and it only made the situation even louder. "They mad because you up. Young Buck kicked out. You in the group. At least I know you ain't looking at my AI, LOL. That's what 50 put out there, and when academics saw it, even he had to pause for a second. On the surface, it might look like one of 50's usual jokes, the type that racks up likes fast and gets people laughing. But if you really know the history, if you've been paying attention to how these two been going back and forth for nearly 2 decades, then you already know this wasn't just a joke. Every line in that caption was calculated. When 50 said Young Buck kicked out, he was reaching all the way back to 2008, when Buck was publicly removed from G Unit. That situation came with money issues, loyalty questions, and claims of reckless decisions. Bringing that up now was not by accident. Then he followed it with, "At least I know you ain't looking at my AI." That line taps into a long-running rumor that's been tied to Buck since the late 2000s. It's something 50 has brought up again and again over the years whenever this feud heats up. So this wasn't just humor for the timeline. This was layered, personal, and aimed right where it would hurt Buck the most: his career, his legacy, and his personal life, all in one shot. That's the 50 Cent playbook, and he's been running it with precision for nearly 2 decades now. And it worked. Buck saw that post, and he did not let it slide. He came back with energy, but we'll get into that in a moment. First, you need to understand how fast the situation took off, because it spread like wildfire. The blog pages jumped on it instantly. Academics, Baller Alert, Industry on Blast, Traps and Trunks, all of them reposted it to millions of followers within hours. It wasn't slow build momentum either. It was instant noise across every corner of the internet. By the time the sun started going down, YouTube was already flooded with reaction videos. Titles like 50 Cent trolls Young Buck on his birthday and Young Buck crashes out on 50 Cent were everywhere, pulling in views and adding more fuel to the situation. Twitter turned into chaos, memes dropping non-stop, jokes flying in every direction. People started debating heavy, picking sides, arguing back and forth. Comment sections turned into straight battlegrounds, with some backing Buck and others laughing along with 50. Even Barilla stepped into the mix, looking completely unbothered and embracing the attention, adding even more noise to a situation that was already out of control. This whole situation had momentum from the second it started, and it was not slowing down for anybody. Just like that, with one perfectly timed Instagram post, 50 Cent flipped a man's 45th birthday into something else completely. What should have been Buck's moment, surrounded by his people, turned into the opening round of another chapter in one of the most uneven and relentless beefs hip-hop has ever seen. But Buck, and this needs to be clear, was not about to let that slide. Not this time, and definitely not on his birthday. What he did next is where everything really started heating up. Here's what people keep getting wrong about Young Buck. A lot of folks in the comments and blog pages talk like he's just going to sit there, scroll past the disrespect, and act like it doesn't matter. That's not who he is. That's not how he's built. He's not the type to watch something like that blow up on his day and just ignore it. And to give him full credit, that needs to be said. He didn't fold under pressure, he didn't stay quiet or try to play it safe, he didn't go online posting vague quotes about staying positive or rising above the noise. What Buck did instead was direct, raw, and true to who he is. It came from a place rooted in real-life experience, backed by the same energy and environment that shaped him from the beginning. The response wasn't polished or filtered, it was real, and that's exactly why it hit the way it did. He grabbed his phone, opened Instagram, hit go live, and took it straight to the trenches. Not from a studio, not from some luxury spot, but right in the middle of his Nashville neighborhood. He was outside, surrounded by OGs and people who've been rocking with him since day one. Walking through the block, calling people by their real names, stopping by Ed's fish spot like it's just a regular day. No security around him, no handlers guiding the moment, no big entourage trying to control the scene. Just Buck and his people, the same ones who've always been there. And from that exact place, he started speaking on everything.
He made it clear from the start he's been paying attention. Nothing went over his head. He's been watching 50's moves closely. Every post, every meme, every personal jab, every time someone's name got pulled into the mix for attention. He held it in for a while, stayed quiet, let things slide, didn't react right away. But this time was different. That birthday post crossed a line for him, and that's what pushed him to finally speak up. When he started talking, it wasn't random. He was calling out something deeper, something people in the culture have been quietly noticing for a while now. The idea that 50's whole strategy runs on controlling the narrative. Shaping how people see things through jokes, memes, and viral moments, turning serious situations into entertainment, and using that to stay in control of the conversation. That's what Buck was putting on blast, and he wasn't holding back. It's all smoke and mirrors, fam. Buck was making it clear how he sees it. Memes instead of music, trolling instead of creating, internet drama instead of real substance. He was saying it straight, no filter. The jig is up, homie. People are starting to see through it, and it's only a matter of time before everybody else catches on. That was also a direct shot tied into 50's ongoing issues with T.I., especially with things involving family being brought into the spotlight online. Buck was basically pointing out that there are real situations happening, things that should be handled with care and maturity. Instead of dealing with that directly, he's saying 50 is choosing to jump online and post AI memes about him on his birthday. Buck questioned that energy heavy. Where are your priorities at? Handle your own situation before stepping into somebody else's space like that. Then, Buck took it a step further and made his stance even clearer. All that internet talk, all the back and forth online, doesn't actually mean anything if it never leaves the screen. That was the message he was pushing. If it's real, then it should show in real life, not just through posts and captions. And the way he said it made it clear he wasn't just talking, he was standing on it. Keep that energy up there. That's what Buck was getting at. Keep it in New York, keep it on the internet, keep it wherever it lives, because down in Tennessee, in the real streets of Nashville, things move different. Buck was making it clear that online talk doesn't carry the same weight when you're face-to-face with people who really know you. And right around that moment, Buck dropped the line that had the whole internet reacting, the challenge that lit up comment sections, group chats, podcasts, and reaction channels all at once. That single statement flipped the entire energy of the situation. Up until then, 50 had been moving from behind a screen, throwing shots from a distance, but Buck was outside, standing on real ground, making it known where he was at and how he was coming. Now, some people started debating if that challenge was even realistic considering 50's level of fame. And sure, on a practical level, it's not simple for someone that known to just walk through certain areas without things getting crowded fast. But that wasn't really the point Buck was making. The point was principle. Buck was standing in his own neighborhood, getting love from all sides, no barriers, no extra layers, just real connection with his community. And the message behind it was simple. This is what it looks like when your people truly support you. The question he was putting out there was clear. Can the same be said on the other side? That's really what it came down to, and Buck closed it all out with a line that hit harder than most people even caught at first. It's my C-Day. I don't owe you a quarter. That wasn't just talk. That was a direct reference to the bankruptcy situation where Buck paid 50 Cent around $200,000 through the Nashville courts, officially clearing a debt that had been hanging over him for years. That payment closed that chapter. No more financial ties, no more obligations, no more leverage to hold over him. In Buck's eyes, that situation was finished, completely done. But if he thought going live and speaking his piece was going to make 50 back off, that didn't happen, not even close. Within hours, 50 grabbed Buck's own footage, reposted it on Instagram, and added a caption built to hit as hard as possible. Look at this punk ass. We know you like them boys. Buck Barilla like the girls. That's a better fit around here, punk. You and your hood because you're broke boy, LOL, broke boy. That broke boy label spread fast. It jumped from platform to platform, hitting comment sections, group chats, and timelines everywhere. What made it hit so hard, so cold, and so effective was how it flipped Buck's entire message. Buck was out there saying he can walk through his hood freely, that he's loved, respected, and at home. 50 came in and turned that whole idea upside down. He pushed a different angle, saying the only reason Buck is always in his hood is because he has nowhere else to go. Not by choice, but by situation. Not freedom, but limitation. That shift in narrative changed how people started looking at everything. And whether people believe that or not, that kind of move is exactly why 50 has built a reputation for being ruthless when it comes to public battles. He knows how to take a message and twist it in a way that sticks. Buck didn't back down, but in terms of the online moment, 50 had already taken control. Tony Yalo even jumped into the comments saying, "We be in Southside all the time," backing that Queen's presence and reinforcing the message. Major outlets like Hot New Hip Hop, XXL, and Hot 97 grabbed screenshots before the post got taken down, which only made it spread even more. And 50 was still not finished. He brought back an old clip tied to past rumors and added more commentary, making it clear where he stands. No reunion, no coming back together, no peace talks on the table. At that point, the message was loud and clear. This wasn't just a back and forth anymore. This was a full-on situation with no signs of slowing down. The Achimetics reel that pushed Buck's side of the story pulled in thousands of likes and hundreds of comments. The reactions were split right down the middle. Some people were backing Buck's authenticity, standing on how real he looked out there. Others were quick to bring up his past losses, and that's where things start getting deeper. Because those past moments are tied into a long, messy history that's been building for nearly 18 years. This isn't some quick online back and forth that fades in a week. This isn't a few posts, a couple of interviews, and then everybody moves on. This situation runs way deeper than that. It didn't start with a meme. It didn't start with a late-night track drop. And it definitely didn't start over a video online. This goes back to real business, real money, and real disagreements that never got resolved. We're talking about issues over finances, contracts, royalties, and publishing. But even more than that, it's about what happens when personal relationships and business collide and things fall apart with no clear fix. That's where this story really begins. Young Buck came up with G-Unit in the early 2000s, around 2002 to 2003, during the group's rise. By 2004, he dropped Straight Outta Cashville, a project that went platinum and helped put Nashville on the map in a major way. At that point, everything looked solid on the surface. Success was there, the movement was strong, and Buck was right in the middle of it. But underneath that success, the cracks were already starting to form, and those cracks would eventually turn into something much bigger. Behind the scenes, things were already starting to fall apart. The real cracks showed when 50 Cent and Shaw Money XL, the group's manager and one of the key architects behind G-Unit, had a serious fallout over money. Buck was close with Shaw Money, not just business, but real personal ties. So that made the situation way more complicated. So when 50 told everyone in the camp to cut ties with Shaw Money, Buck got stuck in the middle of something he didn't create. He had to choose between his brother, someone he stood next to in real life as a best man, and his boss, the person who helped change his entire career. Either way, there were consequences waiting on the other side. At the time, Buck didn't fully understand how deep the issue between 50 and Shaw Money went. From his point of view, he wasn't about to turn his back on someone he considered family over a situation that didn't start with him. That one decision, staying loyal, ended up setting everything else in motion. From there, the shift was clear. While 50, Lloyd Banks, and Tony Yalo kept moving as a unit, doing shows and staying visible together, Buck started getting pushed to the side.
He was left out of group appearances and had to carry his second album, Buck the World, mostly on his own. That kind of isolation started to build pressure, both publicly and behind the scenes. Then the media caught on. Questions started coming in about what was really happening inside G-Unit, and instead of continuing to stay quiet, Buck opened up about the financial side of things in interviews around 2007 and 2008. That moment changed everything. From 50's perspective, speaking on internal money issues publicly crossed a line you don't cross. In his view, no matter what's happening behind closed doors, you don't take it outside. After that, there was no going back. On April 7, 2008, 50 Cent went on Hot 97 and made it official. He told the world that Young Buck was no longer part of G-Unit. And just like that, the split was locked in. You can take this as official notice. That's how it was delivered. Cold, direct, and final. No warning, no second chances, no real conversation. Just like that, it was over. But what happened 2 months after that announcement is what really shifted everything. This was something 50 had been holding on to quietly, waiting for the right moment to use it. And when it came out, it changed the direction of Buck's career and public image in a way that stuck with him for years. In June 2008, 50 Cent released a private phone call he had secretly recorded about a year earlier. It was around 16 minutes long, and it wasn't random. It was calculated, saved, and then dropped at a moment where it would hit the hardest. In that recording, people heard a completely different side of Buck. The same person known for being tough and solid suddenly sounded vulnerable. He was emotional, breaking down, apologizing, and asking not to be removed from the group. From the very start of the audio, you could hear it clearly. This wasn't acting or putting on a show. This was someone dealing with the fear of losing everything he had built. He even explained that he couldn't bring himself to go against 50. The connection was too deep for him to cross that line. And the whole time while he was speaking from a real place, the person on the other end was recording every word, holding on to it and waiting for the moment to use it. And then came the line, the one that stayed attached to Buck for years after that moment. That same family feel, fam. Those words didn't just fade away, they stuck, followed him, and kept getting brought back up over time. That single line became something people kept pointing to whenever his name came up. What made it even heavier was how 50 responded during that same call. He wasn't yelling or going off, his tone was calm, almost like he was trying to guide him. Stay closer. That was the advice he gave. On the surface, it sounded like mentorship, like someone looking out, trying to keep things together. But the reality behind it played out very differently. That entire conversation was recorded, saved, and held onto. It wasn't just a moment, it became something stored away, waiting for the right time. And when that time came, it was released without hesitation. Once that audio hit the internet, everything changed fast. It spread across blogs and forums, and people immediately started reacting. A lot of voices online framed it as a major turning point for Buck's image. At that time, the culture moved in a way where showing emotion publicly was often judged harshly. The reaction reflected that mindset, and it shaped how people talked about him moving forward. From that point on, that moment became part of the narrative tied to his name, whether people agreed with it or not. Back then, your image in the streets was everything. It was tied directly to how people saw you and how your name carried. So hearing a rapper known for being tough break down emotionally on a recorded call hit hard in the public eye. It spread fast, and the reactions were intense. The comment sections were heavy. The blogs pushed it everywhere. The conversation across the culture moved quick. Almost overnight, Buck's image shifted from being seen as G-Unit's Southern enforcer to someone people were questioning because of that moment. He responded right away with a diss track called Taped Conversation. In it, he rapped, "The only people that record conversations is 5-0, a hard play on 50's name, and the police." He pushed back the only way he could, through music. But the situation had already taken on a life of its own. Once that audio was out, it carried a weight that was hard to counter. People had already formed opinions, and the clip kept circulating. From there, 50 maintained the upper hand in how the public conversation played out. For a long stretch, Buck was still tied in to G-Unit contracts, which limited how he could move musically and slowed down his ability to build independent momentum. There was a moment in 2014 at Summer Jam where the group appeared together again. Fans were excited seeing them on stage, thinking things might be back on track. But behind the scenes, nothing fully came together, and it didn't last. Then, in 2019, things escalated again. More content was posted, more trolling followed, and the situation became even more public. There were online jabs, posts targeting Buck's situation, and moves that kept the tension active. Buck called for a head-to-head rap battle, putting the focus back on music and skill. But 50 didn't engage that way, and instead, the online back and forth continued, keeping the situation going without any real resolution. Then came the line into a different kind of battle. Not online, not in interviews, but in court. This was the money war, and it played out through legal filings instead of comment sections. At the center of it was around $250,000 that 50 claimed he had advanced through a 2014 recording deal for 2 albums that never came out. Buck later filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in 2020, which pulled everything into a bigger legal situation. G-Unit stepped in with a creditor claim, and the case stretched out in Nashville federal court for years. Both sides were throwing serious claims back and forth.
There were accusations tied to finances, questions about assets, and disputes over music rights. It turned into a long, drawn-out fight with no quick ending. Then, in July 2025, it finally closed. Buck's estate was liquidated, and a payment of $200,000 690 was made directly to 50 Cent, officially ending the legal battle. Once that happened, major outlets like Hip Hop DX, Complex, and Vice all ran with similar headlines, framing it as another win for 50 Cent and another loss for Buck. And the timing didn't help Buck's situation. In April 2025, he served 30 days in Sumner County Jail related to a bond violation in a separate case. That moment spread fast online, with his mugshot circulating everywhere. 50 reacted quickly, posting about it and adding his own commentary, keeping the spotlight on Buck. It added more noise to an already tense situation and kept the public conversation going. And that's how everything circles back to where things stand now. March 2026. Birthday posts, viral clips, and the same tension still active. After all these years, nothing has really cooled off. If anything, every new moment just adds another layer to a situation that refuses to fade. This whole Buck situation is just one piece of a bigger pattern. 50 Cent is juggling multiple beefs at the same time. You got issues involving T.I., Mano, Papoose, and even boxer Claressa Shields. And if you look closely, it's the same approach every time. IG memes, AI images, public jokes, and moments designed to embarrass people on a large scale. So now the real question becomes, is it still funny? People laugh at the memes, they repost the edits, they quote lines like "broke boy" and keep it moving. The Dukes of Hazzard image, the captions, all of it turns into entertainment for the timeline. But on the other side of those jokes is a real person, someone who, despite everything, once stood side by side with the same man, now turning him into content. Someone who once called him family on a recording that the whole world ended up hearing. Depending on how you see it, this could be one of the wildest long-running stories in hip-hop history. Or it could be one of the most complicated and personal fallouts we've ever watched play out in public. Now, I want to hear what you think about it. Drop your thoughts in the comments, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this with someone who's been following this whole situation. I'll catch you in the next one.